All right, welcome back to another SegWeather video looking at your forecast for your Thursday, July 30th of 2026. We're going to go ahead and hop into the details starting now with our radar. I can tell this as of this morning, we do have some ongoing showers and storms occurring in parts of the plains tight to our next system, which is already underway. This is going to move into the Midwest and eventually northeast as progress into this weekend. Could bring some more wet weather to these areas, and even northeast as of last night they reported almost a foot of rainfall in parts of eastern New York from the previous system, which did stall over the same area last night. And unfortunately, that's what led to a lot of that occurring. So right now, there's ongoing flooding across eastern parts of New York. So they do not need any more rain. But unfortunately, with this next system, this could unfortunately bring them more rain by this weekend. So if you're in this corner of the country, I'll be on high alert for more rain this weekend. And then some of that rain also here in Florida as well. That's going to continue throughout your day today as well. Now, looking at your current watches and warnings, we do have a bit going on. Those heat advisories, the orange down here in the south, that's going to be in place throughout your day today with heat index values over 100 degrees, and then the extreme heat warnings in place for eastern Oklahoma and for the southwestern corner of the U.S. with heat index values well over 105 to about 120. So a very hot day for these areas. And then a dark red up here in parts of eastern Montana. This represents a new developing extreme heat watch. This will go into effect by this week, and expecting more heat to take place in this area as the heat dome expands towards the west by then. And then notice some grays as well. That means air quality alerts for this area for pretty bad conditions, unfortunately, the ongoing smoky conditions also in place for the northeastern parts of Colorado too, once again for today. And then notice the apricots, that represents where there's a fire weather watches. Unfortunately, we're going to have some very dry air coming into this region with hot conditions as well. And with low humidity, unfortunately, this is going to lead to the heightened threat for that to occur. So if you are in this region over here, I'll be on the high alert for this for what's expected to occur throughout your day today. And I highly recommend, especially if you're near some of these fires, highly recommend evacuating with this ongoing at this time. So just a word of note for your day today. Now looking at the fires, speaking of that, we do have them ongoing until Washington, Oregon. It's looking pretty bad as of this morning with this, wherever you see those fire symbols, that's where we have a fire ongoing, and still it's quite widespread, especially in Oregon, a little part of the parts of eastern Washington. So not looking too good. Air quality is still pretty bad in these areas. And as we head throughout this afternoon into this evening, we do expect the smoke to be pretty bad up here in parts of the Pacific Northwest. So looking at more of those very smoky skies for your day today, with the oranges, reds, and purples indicating that. But towards the Midwest and towards the deep South, we will be seeing some spreading of that haze, maybe a little bit of that smoke, as unfortunately, with the way the jet stream is positioned right now, it's pulling a lot of the smoke from this area and pulling it towards Midwest and Northeast. So unfortunately, higher up aloft, we have those winds moving. It's going to be sucking in that air and unfortunately acting as a vacuum to pull it down towards this region in general. So if you are in the Midwest towards the deep south today, I'll be on high alert for some of those easy skies, looking at Milky Way skies, maybe some orangey sunsets as well. So watch that for your day today. So if you are immune compromised or you're very sensitive to this kind of air, I'll be on high alert, but potentially recommend wearing a mask today with this ongoing. But besides that, though, looking at air temperatures, looking at a pretty warm to hot day for much of the South and Plains. Temperatures reaching the hundreds in Kansas, 105 in northern parts of Texas. Temperatures in the 90s across much of the deep South as well. The Southwest temperatures reaching to almost 120 degrees, so quite a hot, steamy day. In the upper plains and towards Rockies, a little cooler temperatures in the 90s for today, and temperatures Midwest a bit warmer, looking at the 80s for your afternoon for Thursday. Northeast still remaining cool, 70s to lower 80s, and then the Pacific Northwest also cool with temperatures in the 70s for almost everyone in those areas. Now, between now and Tuesday, I did show you this map yesterday. This is the upper level map where we have our cooler anomalies, which is the greens, yellows, and then our hotter anomalies, which is the red. and dark reds. And where we have that hotter anomalies is where we have that very hot air. That's going to be over the southwestern corner of the US, maybe the south, as we progress throughout the weekend and into the early part of next week as that heat dome remains down towards then. But unfortunately for the Midwest, Northeast, we'll be seeing unsettled conditions as with that second system coming in this weekend. That's tied to this low pressure system. It's going to be sitting around in the Midwest to Northeast and bringing more of that rainfall and settled conditions. But if you're a fan of cooler weather, this is for you. But if you're not, unfortunately, this is going to be the pattern for the next about several days, probably until about Tuesday, August 4th. That's when you do expect the pattern to finally break. And that's when we can expect some of this warmer air, hotter air to return back to Midwest by then. So until then, looking at cooler conditions, feeling much more like early September, maybe mid-September. But besides that, looking at least a break from all the high humidity until about then with this weather. And looking at other severe threat for today, we do have up to a slight risk. That's the yellow indicating scattered severe storms possible in this little region today, and then a marginal risk outside that area that encompasses much of the plains into the upper Midwest as you progress throughout your day on your Thursday, and then a little area here in the southeast, marginal risk in place for this area. That's going to continue throughout your day on your Thursday as well. And looking at what to expect threat wise, tornado risk looks to be pretty low, especially across South Dakota into Nebraska. And then looking at the damaging wind threat, up to about 50% risk being possible for, again, the southern parts of South Dakota into much of Nebraska, and then surrounding areas, just looking at a 5% chance for your day today. And then that hail risk also looking quite low, up to about a 5% risk over the plains to the Rockies for your day. Now, looking at the flood threat, looking at about a slight risk in place for almost the same areas we're going to have that severe weather today, as the storms will be pretty widespread. They will most likely produce a bit of rainfall, and now will be in place for these areas, hence why we have the slight risk for excessive rainfall, and then marginal risk extending down towards deep south for any downpours to produce some flooding rainfall. Same thing for Northeast, those as marginal threat for you guys today, and a slight threat also here in the parts of the southwest corner of the US as well. Now, looking at that radar, between now and Friday morning, you can see those storms ongoing across much of the plains to the west. You see that very closely up here. You can tell how they really expand, become a lot more widespread. And then some of the showers across northeast, you will see some of that as we head throughout your day today, tied to that previous low, which is bringing the unsettled weather, and then showers, storms ongoing across Florida, and then some of that over here in parts of Southwest, tied to the monsoonal rains that are ongoing in that area. But a closer look towards Midwest, the plains, excuse, you can see those storms again, how fast they bubble up, quite widespread by this evening, and then by tomorrow morning, again, making their way. Looks like they'll make their way into Iowa and eventually Minnesota, and maybe even to Missouri by daybreak on Friday mornings. So if you are traveling anywhere in this region, I'll be on high alert for those storms during the day. But besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to always get updated on whenever I drop a video on this channel. In the meantime, have a great day and stay weather aware.